Redeemed, rehabilitated, and real entertaining. This is the Carl Jackson Podcast.
All right, welcome to the Carl Jackson Show podcast. This is your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. Angela Davis, the communist, former Black Panther, fugitive, academic, Black activist, found out a few days ago or mid last week, that she's the direct descendant of a pilgrim off of the Mayflower. Imagine your entire life, your identity, your purpose being wrapped up in racism, in race warfare, in class warfare. And all of a sudden you find out that you're the descendant of a pilgrim. This lady has an identity crisis. This is absolutely amazing. We're going to get into this story right now on the Carl Jackson Show podcast. But stay tuned first for some network messaging. All right, welcome back to the Carl Jackson Show podcast. All right, guys. So before the messaging here, we talked about Angela Davis. This is a bombshell. All right, this is a bombshell. I don't know why I didn't hear about this until the weekend, but I'm glad that I did hear about it. But I want you to imagine this. Your entire identity, your entire persona, even the way you make money, the way you make a living is tied up into this persona that you're a former Black Panther, you're a Black activist, you're a communist, you believe in critical race theory, you espouse all of this crap, all of this nonsense. You believe in reparations. You believe that America's systemically racist, all of this left-wing Black Marxist crap. And then you find out that you're the descendant of a pilgrim off of the Mayflower. I mean, frankly, let's just some common sense here. I'm sure that you can see the photos of Angela Davis on the podcast. Please be sure to subscribe to the podcast on our YouTube channel, The Carl Jackson Show. We're also on Rumble. Find me on social media, The Carl Jackson Show, wherever I am, Twitter, Instagram, Getter, True Social, Facebook, you name it, The Carl Jackson Show. But you can look at Angela Davis and say, wait a minute, this chick looks like, if you're just using common sense, she's not all, let's say, African, okay? A little light, little curly hair. Am I suggesting that all light-skinned people have some type of mixed blood in their system? I don't know, but looking at her, I certainly think so. She doesn't strike me as a woman that came straight off of an African slave ship. She just doesn't look that way to me. That's just me using my common sense. But again, this lady has been totally wrapped up in this persona, this identity, right? That she's this former Black Panther. I mean, she's spreading hate like nobody's business. The white man, the white supremacist, critical race theory, all this kind of stuff, right? Now you got to ask yourself, how much money does she owe in reparations? Actually, no one owes any money in reparations. But if that's the argument she's going to be making, it's fascinating to me. Here's what, before we play the video, here's what I hope for Angela Davis. All right. So Angela Davis has just got a bombshell dropped on her. All right. So now that she knows she's the descendant of Europeans straight out of Europe. Remember that song, Straight Out of Compton, straight out of Europe. I'm sorry. Straight out of Europe, Angela Davis. Here's what I hope for Angela Davis. I hope she gets saved, right? I hope that the God Almighty, Lord Jesus Christ, changes her heart. And instead of dividing people among racial lines, I pray and hope at her olden age, I believe she's 79 years of age, I hope that she will repent, change her ways, and start to unite Americans rather than to divide them. Obviously, she has a short period of time left on this earth. Given her age, I hope she will make the right decision. But here's the audio clip. I want you to check out her reaction. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Carl Jackson Show. Oh, but before I go any further, guys, I do have to remind you to please help out our sponsors, MyPillow.com. Again, MyPillow, the new MyPillow 2.0. I absolutely love it. They have a new fabric that dissipates heat and humidity to create a cooling sensation and maintain a cooler surface temperature. So they have the original patented feel still in there, but now they have a newer outer layer that just feels so smooth, so cool. You'll absolutely love it. All you have to do is go to mypillow.com, click on the radio listener square at the top of the page, enter my name, Carl, at the top of the page, or you can give them a call at 800-858-0263. That is 800-858-0263. And also just browse the website, because any product that is available there's a plethora of products that are on discount exclusively for my listeners. All you have to do is enter the promo code Carl. Oh, and Pure Health, our other sponsor, Pure Health. All right, today's show is brought to you in part by Pure Health. If you're looking to ignite your fat-burning metabolism, you want to boost energy, transform how you look and feel, you must start taking care of your liver. All right, so fatty liver affects 100 million Americans. This is why so many of us struggle with weight gain and low energy levels. I hope you heard that, Gabe. It's manufactured in the... Just kidding. It's manufactured in the USA. I need to hear it. Approved by American doctors and contains 12 powerful botanicals clinically proven to recharge and to protect your liver. Try Liver Health Formula risk-free and receive a free bottle of nano-powered omega-3 to keep your heart healthy. Claim your special offer today by going to getliverhelp.com /Carl. That is getliverhelp.com /Carl. Getliverhelp.com /Carl. Okay, Gabe, let's roll the tape. This is the former Black Panther, current black activist and communist, Angela Davis, finding out that she is the direct descendant of a pilgrim from the Mayflower. This is unreal. I absolutely love this. This is God's justice at work. Let's roll the video, Gabe.
Any idea what you're looking at? That is a list of the passengers on the Mayflower.
No, I can't believe this. No, my ancestors did not come here on the Mayflower.
Your ancestors came on the Mayflower.
No.
You are descended
No.
from one of the 101 people who sailed on the Mayflower.
Oof. That's a little bit too much to deal with right now.
Did you ever, in your wildest dreams, think that you may have descended from people who laid
Never.
the foundation
Never.
for this country?
Never.
Wow. All right. So listen, that I guarantee you that was Dr. Henry Louis Gates Jr. And he hosts the show Finding Your Roots on PBS. That was an authentic reaction. No doubt when she got off a camera and she was alone somewhere. Can you imagine the introspection that takes place after that? Again, your whole identity, your whole purpose, and your whole meaning in life is wrapped up around hate, is wrapped up around bigotry. You claim that your entire framework of life is black, white, the oppressed, the oppressor, the whole critical race theory nonsense. America is systemically racist. Our founding is systemically racist. America, systemically, institutionally hates black people, disadvantages black people, despite the fact that she's a former fugitive, by the way. You guys may not know that. She's a former fugitive, and she's had all types of success in America. Both of her parents were educated or educators in Alabama. She was associated with this group, the Soledad brothers, this from Britannica. She championing the cause of black prisoners in the 1960s and 70s. Angela Davis grew particularly attached to a young revolutionary. This explains that fugitive background I was talking about. A young revolutionary by the name of George Jackson, one of the so-called Soledad brothers, named after the Soledad prison. Jackson's brother Jonathan was among the 4 persons that were killed, including the trial judge, in an abortive escape and kidnapping attempt from the Hall of Justice in Marin County, California. Suspected of complicity, Davis was sought for arrest and became one of the FBI's most wanted criminals, arrested in New York City in October 1970. She was returned to California to face charges of kidnapping, murder, and conspiracy. She was acquitted of all charges by an all-white jury. Afterwards, Republicans, even Ronald Reagan, tried to make sure that she couldn't go out on the lecturing circuit. I believe Richard Nixon as well in California. It did not happen. She became a professor in the California's university system, and she has thrived. She's done very well, but her entire life has been wrapped up again, a communist, a Black Panther, a critical theorist. This is amazing. And now we find out she's the descendant. She is the descendant of, what's the guy's name? Of Plymouth, a guy by the name of Brewster, William Brewster. All right. So host Larry Gates Jr., this is from the Federalist, revealed to Davis that she is descended from William Brewster, one of the 101 columnists who voyaged to America in 1620, a year after the 1619 project, aboard the Mayflower. And you heard her reaction. She couldn't believe it. Davis's ancestor, William Brewster, wasn't just any columnist, either in the Plymouth colony. Brewster was the senior elder religious leader and advisor to Governor William Bradford. His memorial stone states he is, quote, patriarch of the Pilgrims, close quote. So her ancestry has a religious background. I hope that she will repent. I hope that this is a wake-up call for her to get right with God before she lies on her deathbed. Again, the chick is almost 80 years old, and she looks like she's in great health. Lord knows how long she will live. But let's face it, you're wrapping up your life at 79 years of age on this earth. All right, so it goes on to say this is Avita Duffy Alfonso from the Federalist. We're going to try to get her on later this week, so hopefully that we can make that happen. Ironically, America's settlement and therefore the legacy of Davis' ancestors has been brutally attacked by Davis and her progressive allies. Davis is a trained critical theorist who attended the infamous University of Frankfurt, originator of the Frankfurt School of Marxist philosophers. So this chick is steeped in it. Avita Duffy writes about some of the things that she could actually appreciate about her ancestry from William Brewster and the Pilgrims. All right, God, this is just so sweet. This is what you call poetic justice. All right, so the Pilgrims had an appreciation for self-government. The Mayflower Compact, as Avita Duffy writes, is one of the most important documents in world history because it set a precedent for the establishment of democratic government by the consent of we the people, by the consent of the governed. All right, so in the years that followed the Mayflower and the American founding documents that it inspired established principles of equality, self-government, rights, and freedom for the individual and across the world. The Mayflower Compact, or our Declaration of Independence, our Constitution are inspired by the Mayflower Compact. Not only that, but Avita Duffy makes another argument on how to get along with other races, or how her ancestry, Angela Davis' ancestry or ancestor, and William Brewster made exceptional examples of how to get along with other races, unlike Davis, who herself has spent her lifetime decrying, just racism, being a racist bigot herself, and just, whites are automatically racist, so they're automatically the oppressor, all of this nonsense. But on April 1st, 1621, the Pilgrims signed a historic peace treaty with the, I don't even know how to pronounce this, but the Wampanoag Indians. The treaty marked 50 years of peace between the two groups and is widely considered the most successful Indian treaty in American history. As a testament to their strong relationship, a Pilgrim elder even saved the life of the Indian chief of that Wampanoag tribe. In March of 1623, the Pilgrims learned that Massasoit, the leader of the Wampanoags, and I know I'm chopping up these names, guys, but I'm reading along here because this is the information that I'm finding out, was on the brink of death. At once, Pilgrim elder Edward Winslow rushed to his side. Winslow traveled 40 miles to administer medical broth, natural herbs, and prayers. Within days, Masso had made a full recovery, stating, "Now I see that English are my friends and love me. And whilst I live, I will never forget this kindness that they've showed me." I guess you're not going to learn about that in American history. And also, we learned from the Pilgrims that socialism doesn't work, right? We learned that William Bradford and what the Pilgrims did at first initially was was everybody shared from everybody when it came to a growing farm or farming communally, if you will. But then basically lazy people would get up later in the day, but they wanted their share of the goods. So what William Bradford discovered is, okay, socialism doesn't work. People aren't incentivized to work. If they can show up late, don't have to work as hard, but they get the same reward. So he was like, screw that. He divided the land amongst private land, private property, where every individual had to do their own thing. And then as a result of that, the farming flourished. They had more than enough and plenty for each other. So just another example of why socialism didn't work. Okay, now moving on. The second topic. And guys, don't forget, please subscribe to our podcast wherever you do get your podcast. We would certainly appreciate that. Listen, we could use the follow. We've just been straight up honest with you. When you follow, when you like, when you share, especially if you go onto YouTube, you rate and review, that helps us to move up the charts. It helps us to be seen, helps us to be heard. And we would certainly appreciate that. Also follow me on social media, The Carl Jackson Show. You know what? I didn't get this video, but did you guys see, was Woody Harrelson, formerly of Cheers, done all types of movies since basically the SNL crowd could not handle him. He came out and was joking about the jab and being locked down and, all of this kind of stuff, made a big hoorah over it, actually going, just knocking the jab, knocking big pharma, and you can tell that the audience was completely uncomfortable with it. Right after that, the left-wing media, they did their job. They tried their best to destroy Woody Harrelson, some conspiracy theorists. The truth of the matter is these people just know they're wrong. At this point, there's so much evidence coming out to suggest that the jab wasn't in our best interest. The paper diapers around our face were not in our best interest and very ineffective. And these people are being hit with truth. And one of the best ways to hit people with truth is through comedy. But you can tell Saturday Night Live, I'm pretty sure a New York audience, they were extremely extremely uncomfortable with Woody Harrelson. Okay, now I want to move on. Let's see. Let me see here. Let me just make sure that actually, before I get to this, Gabe, I guess the next video we'll tune up is Biden saying he can't recall whether or not he spoke to the mayor of East Palestine. If you will get that video lined up. But before I go to that, let me talk about this. All right, so some new intel comes out that the Department of Energy, new intel prompts the Energy Department to assess COVID likely leak from the Wuhan lab. This is a report. All right, so this from the Daily Wire had tipped. A new intelligence reportedly prompted a key U.S. science agency to surmise that the vid likely leaked from a Chinese laboratory in Wuhan. According to the Wall Street Journal, the Energy Department, with its network of U.S. national laboratories, revised its assessment to say with quote unquote low confidence that the pandemic likely began with a lab leak. All right. Now, this is the Department of Energy. Why they're coming up with this, I have no idea. The report said officials would not share the details about the new intelligence, which led the agency to shift its view from quote unquote undecided. Guys, they've had this information for quite some time. This is total BS. This is why I don't trust these agencies. This is why we need to cut out, amputate some of these agencies. What new evidence do they have? You think China is giving them new evidence? You think they have new evidence from China? It's total BS. The assessment appears in an update to a 2021 classified report. Thank you to the Director of National Intelligence, Avril Haines. What is the difference between 2021 and now? We have a Republican Congress. They can dive deeper and find out some of this crap, so they can't hide it anymore. That's what's happening, folks. All right, so the National Intelligence Council and 4 agencies with the newspaper says officials refuse to identify, still believe with, quote, low confidence, close quote, in the natural emergency theory. The FBI assessed in 2021 with quote unquote moderate confidence that the pandemic likely began with a lab leak. The CIA and 2 other agencies reportedly still have not made a determination. Of course, they haven't. The updated report affirms that the vid did not come from a biological weapons program. Also, there's a lack of evidence that it ever came from any animal source. And this has led researchers to U.S. Researchers and U.S. officials to suspect a leak, something that most Americans have considered for quite some time now. We have 6.8 million people worldwide that have died with COVID. I'm not sure that they've died of COVID. Beijing has maintained that they're not to blame because, of course, they would, right? But they have refused to cooperate with the World Health Organization, whom they paid off as well, by the way. Joe Biden did order, to his credit, all right? So Joe Biden did order a 90-day U.S. intelligence reviews into the virus, or the origins of the virus, in 2021. It was reported that officials in his administration found the lab leak theory credible, or as credible as the natural emergence theory in animals. Following the inquiry, Biden criticized China for their lack of transparency and pledged further investigations. Obviously, that did not happen. Why? Because we think that Biden is on the take. He's corrupt. And I got a feeling Z called him, or maybe they didn't call, but maybe there was some type of messaging with one of the administration officials, or said, hey, you realize that we have dirt on you and your son, right? Don't you, Joe Biden? This is why you can't have a corrupt president inside of the White House. But now let me go ahead and move on from that issue. I want to go on to this issue with Palestine, Ohio. Again, this news is not going away. I do want to remind you, remember, Joe Biden went to Ukraine last week. He went to Kiev. He went to Warsaw, Poland, and he wanted to look good, tough, and brave in front of the camera. Oh, by the way, did you guys see that news that Poland accidentally took a picture of Zelensky's body double? Yeah, big mistake, Poland. Really big mistake. Anyway. Yeah, that was out there. Saw that on Zero Hedge. That was pretty, it's pretty weird. But yeah, they messed up big time. Anyway, so this guy, David Muir, is reporting on ABC News. He's interviewing Biden, and he's asking him about his visit, his decision not to visit East Palestine, Ohio. This is a very bad look for Biden. Now, if you're one of Biden's followers, you believe that he's this strong man despite the debacle in Afghanistan. You believe that he's this strong man. You think he's great on the world stage. This was his moment. Everybody on the left were building him up as this Winston Churchill when it comes to Ukraine and his Poland visit. But when it comes to East Palestine, Ohio, what's happening right in our own backyard in the United States of America, he looks horrible. And so I contend the reason that he would not visit East Palestine is simply because it makes him look bad. It's political. It's obvious to me that Biden is getting ready to announce. Joe Biden has said as much that he's going to be running for the presidency again. And so why would you want yourself to look bad? And you have to go back to this, guys. Remember, I shared with you last week what Biden did, not what Obama did in 2012 or leading up to the 2012 campaign. It was the first time that the Democrat Party decided to completely abandon the white working class voters, because so many of them, fell in love with Obama initially. Yay, we're not racist, and our guy gets in, the first black president. And then when he started implementing his policies and making everybody broke and spending too much freaking money, it was like, oh crap, this guy isn't as good as we thought. We're not voting for him now. We're not voting based upon affirmative action and his skin color. Now we're going to vote. Now we're going to vote our pocketbooks and our best interests. So Obama was bleeding white working class voters. So he said, screw it. Let's abandon them. We're going to go for the poor blacks. We're going to go for the poor Latinos. We're going to go for the educated upper class. We're going to go for the suburban moms. And that's the constituency the Democrat Party still goes after today. And they're willing to throw the white working class people under the bus. That's exactly what's happening here. This simply is not his constituency. The East Palestine people, and a visit there would not look good, because surely there would likely be protesters or independent journalists that would be asking Biden serious questions that mainstream media refuses to ask him. Nonetheless, let's play David Muir of ABC News interviewing Joe Biden on his decision not to visit East Palestine.
So do you plan to travel there, and have you talked with the mayor?
I can't recall that. I don't think I've talked to the mayor. I've talked to everyone else there, and multiple times. I've talked to both the senators, both governors. I've talked to everyone there is to talk to. And we made it clear that everything is available.
All right, so Everything is available, but he hasn't even spoken to the mayor of East Palestine. He hasn't spoken to the mayor. Now, I don't think this will bode well. I'm glad this is staying inside of the media. I don't think this will bode well for Joe Biden. Certainly it won't for in East Palestine, Ohio, but they're not as worried about East Palestine, Ohio, because this is technically Trump country. And right. So they're not worried about that. Like, they've lost Florida. They realize that the Democrats have. They've lost with DeSantis in office. Oh, man, I got a story that I'll share with you. DeSantis making moves in the education industry. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But they've lost Ohio. These states have essentially turned red, as we saw in 2020. So they're not as concerned about these people. They're concerned about Michigan. They're concerned about Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Arizona, right? North Carolina. They're concerned about the swing states. They know that Biden knows that he doesn't have a chance in Ohio, and he knows that he doesn't have a chance in Florida. But this is what makes this guy disgusting, because you're still the president of the entire United States and all of its people. All right. So you remember when they had the fires in California? We're going to have to go back and find that video. They had the fires in California during horrific fires, like they always do in California, frankly. Because they subscribe to left-wing policies and don't clean up their underbrush. But Trump gave Gavin Newsom and California the support they needed. He didn't play politics. They were Americans that needed help, and Trump doled out the help. That's not true with the left, all right? It is pure politics with these people. Erin Brockovich, this is the next thing. Erin Brockovich has made a visit made a visit to East Palestine, Ohio, and she's warning these people, listen, right now the cameras are all on you guys. Use your common sense, right? Don't let the federal government, don't let your state and local officials abandon you and abandon this issue. Right now, some of the toxic waste was being removed to parts of Michigan because they have special disposal sites in Michigan. Also some right near Palestine, Ohio, apparently, and also some in Texas. But all of these other places are saying, whoa, hold up. We don't want to take any more of this crap. So the EPA, I believe it's the EPA, have halted the removal of a lot of this toxic material, so until they figure out where else they can dispose of it safely. But meanwhile, Erin Brockovich is bringing more attention to the situation. You guys know her as an activist. A movie was made after her. Julia Roberts starred as her, and thank God she's come in to bring some attention to this issue, because obviously you got 4,400 at least, fish that are dead. You've got other animals that are dying because of this toxic waste dump, with this train car derailing and toxic fumes spilling all over the place, and the governor and local municipalities deciding to do a controlled burn, which was apparently stupid as all get out, and just did more damage and releasing this chemical into the air. So Erin Brockovich comes in. She what's the word? She brings her notoriety to the subject. Here's what she had to say on Tucker Carlson. I'll be honest with you. I thought she was a big time lefty. Saw her interview years ago. I'm happy to see. Doesn't sound like it here at all. And regardless, somebody comes in and does the work to help out other people. I don't care about their party affiliation. This is obviously a big deal. People live there in East Palestine, Ohio. They have nowhere to go. A lot of them don't have the money to go anywhere else. And we should pay attention to that. I don't care if this happens in California. I don't care if it happens in Ohio. I don't care if it happens in Florida. We're all Americans first. We all pay tax dollars, or 50% of us anyway, pay federal tax dollars. When something like this happens, the federal government has an obligation to take care of it. And I got to be honest with you, even the man, I forget the name, Northern Suffolk Company. Like, what's going on with Pete Buttigieg and the Department of Transportation? Why aren't they spending some of that infrastructure money from the American Rescue Plan to fix our freaking train tracks? Makes no sense to me. But here's Erin Brockovich on Tucker Carlson.
East Palestine and Ohio and Ukraine are not technically related in any way, but you still can't help but notice the difference between how they are treated by the Biden administration. So The administration just announced another $2 billion in funding for Ukraine. We sent them over $100 million already, but no money for the people in East Palestine, who, as you well know, were exposed through no fault of their own to toxic chemicals. Erin Brockovich is in East Palestine tonight, and we thought it would be interesting to talk to her. And thank you so much for coming on. Do you know, I mean, can you see the disparity in the... Oh, of course. Can you see the disparity between the concern for the people of Ukraine, which I'm not discounting as real, with the concern for the people in East Palestine? There seems to be a huge difference.
Well, it's certainly concerning to the people of East Palestine. I mean, we're pushing a month now, and they still don't have any answers. It's very obvious something's really gone wrong out here. I've been out here down on the ground, and they're really frustrated why they don't feel that their agencies or their administration cares about what's happened to the community. So it is very apparent they are concerned and not being seen or heard.
So that you make such an interesting point, and I don't know the answer to this, but you've been around this kind of thing before. You think that there's something specific that they're not being told? That's your sense?
Hold it for just a second there, Gabe. So, all right, so Tucker Carlson is pressing Erin Brockovich. There's something specifically that the people are not being told. I want you to pay attention to her answer, because this answer is damning, and it's common sense. Guys, can we stop playing the political games? Can we stop allowing politicians to divide us in this way? When people need help, people need help. When people pay tax dollars, federal tax dollars, they expect help from the federal government, regardless of political party. Joe Biden is a sick, nasty, evil, despicable human being that he won't give these people the help they deserve. Meanwhile, he travels around the world. He travels to Ukraine, and frankly, I have no problem with him going to Ukraine and to Warsaw, Poland, except that I do believe the guy is ushering us into World War III, and he completely sucks as a commander in chief. All we have to do is look at the debacle in Afghanistan and look at the woke military leaders that we have, and it's clearly obvious that we don't have the leadership nor the finances that we need to go into a war. It's crazy, insane to me. But I want you to pay attention to what Erin Brockovich has to say, because Joe Biden could have done both. He could have easily stopped by East Palestine and at least shown his face, shown some concern before he went to Kiev and to Warsaw, Poland. Let's roll the tape here,
Yeah,
Gabe.
there is. And I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, come on. We're out here. What, if 44,000 fish are dead? We've seen them. We've seen them out here today, aerating the creeks. They're removing stuff. The wellheads are locked. What's up? Look, you don't have to go any further, in my opinion, than a 100-year study that we all know the miners did for us. It's called The Canary in the Mine Shaft. Send the canary down there, it dies, might not be good for humans. You have dead fish, might not be good for humans. You have dead animals, might not be good for humans. You've sent a horrible mixed message to this community. Drink the water, don't drink the water. Safe, not safe. It's horribly confusing and extremely frustrating to them, and something actually has gone wrong here, and there's information that has yet to come forward, and the story will continue to unfold.
That's so nicely put. And I just want to pick up on something you said. The wellheads have been locked. What did you mean?
So in the schools, so the children can't drink the fountains, and then on private wells around here, they've got locks on them. So they obviously, come on, if there's no problem, you don't need to lock a drinking fountain. You don't need to be aerating the system, and you can explain away all day long to me that nothing's wrong, but I see what's going on here.
Yeah, I think it's better to
You're
make
not going to
decisions
gaslight
based
me.
It's better to make judgments on the evidence than on the words. I agree with that. Thank you.
So there it is. Erin Brockovich, all right, you're not going to gaslight me. And that's exactly what the federal government is trying to do. They're trying to gaslight all of us. And these guys, reporters out there, do your job, man. For God's sakes. Just do your job. I know Biden is your guy, but do your job. Have a bit of compassion for your fellow American. You know, you may despise them, but we're all going to stand in front of the judgment seat of God. You know, do your job. It's common sense. They're locking the, well locks are being shut down. People can't drink from water fountains. They're telling us that there's nothing to see here. Give me a break. The governor comes out. I know he's a Republican, but he's a weak Republican. He goes out and, he drinks the water I'm not sure if the Pennsylvania governor did the same thing or whatever. They try to play the game, but what's concerning or disconcerting, or should be disconcerting for the residents of East Palestine, are the long-term effects. We do not know the long-term effects. So don't let your locked jaws off of this case, guys. Don't let the Biden administration sweep this under the rug. I know a lot of you guys don't want to be political. This is politics. I'm sorry. We don't want to be political. The only way you're going to get the aid that you need is to be political. It's nice and sweet to say that we don't want to be political and kumbaya, but the Biden administration is in charge. They run all of these agencies. Biden's people are in charge of all of these agencies. The EPA, Department of Energy, CDC, you name it, they run all of these agencies. And so if you're going to get help, you're going to have to be loud, boisterous, you're going to have to be persistent, and it's going to have to be overwhelmingly political. It's really as simple as that. Guys, listen, I appreciate you tuning in to this edition of the Carl Jackson Show podcast. I want to make sure before I go that I did cover everything that I wanted to cover here, and I did. Guys, again, I appreciate you tuning in. Please subscribe to the podcast wherever you go to get your podcast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Carl Jackson Show on YouTube. We're also on Rumble, so please find us there. Don't forget our sponsors, Pure Health. Listen, guys, if you're looking to ignite your fat-burning metabolism, if you need to boost your energy, transform how you look and feel, you must start taking care of your liver. Do not forget our sponsors, Pure Health. Fatty liver affects 100 million Americans. This is why so many of us are struggling with weight gain and lower energy levels. This product is manufactured in the USA, approved by American doctors, and contains 12 powerful botanicals, clinically proven to recharge and protect your liver. You can try Liver Health. Try Liver Health formula risk-free and receive a free bottle of nano-powered omega-3 to keep your heart healthy as well. Claim your special offer today. All you have to do is go to getliverhelp.com/Carl, getliverhelp.com/Carl, getliverhelp.com/Carl. And by the way, if you want a good night's rest, make sure you support our sponsor, MyPillow. Mike Lindell, American jobs, American manufacturing. Absolutely love this. MyPillow 2.0 still has the great feel inside, the patented feel inside, but it has a new outer layer that's cool, that's smooth, that you will absolutely love and help you to sleep even better. Go to mypillow.com. Use the promo code Carl. There's a plethora of deals available exclusive to my listeners if you go to mypillow.com and use my name. Give them a call if you prefer. 800-858-0263. Guys, don't give up this fight for America. In the end, I believe that we're going to win. Constitutionalists, restorationists have to stay tight. All right, conservatives, if you still call yourself a conservative, listen, we're starting to see some inroads. All right, so do not give up the fight. Until next time, do not grow weary doing good. God bless you. Take care.